Hello students, I am Dr. Kushnanda Parveen, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, GMC, Bettiah. Today I am going to discuss about cerebrum. Previously I upload one lecture on the midbrain. I hope it will benefited you. If any doubt, please don't hesitate to interact with me. The cerebrum is constitute the largest part of the brain, contains two hemispheres separated by median cleft, that is longitudinal fissure, known as longitudinal fissure, which contains the crescent separate fold of the dura mater, known as falx cerebri. The two hemispheres are connected to each other by large commissural fiber, known as corpus callosum. Each hemisphere contains an irregular cavity containing CSF, known as lateral ventricle, which is continuous with the third ventricle through interventricular foramen. Each hemisphere consists of externally highly convoluted cortex, beneath which lie an extensive internal mass of white matter that partly enclose the basal ganglia. The cortex is not uniform in thickness, being thickest in the motor area and thinnest in the occipital pole. In order to increase the cortical area, the surface of hemisphere show numerous convolutions known as gyri, and these are separated from fissure known as sulci of varying depth. Some sulcus are shallow, known as sulcus. Some sulcus are deep. These sulcus are known as fissure. So this is median longitudinal fissure. Here is highly convolutions. The surface area of the cortex is about 2.2 square meter, which become folded and folded to occupy in the cranial cavity. White matter consists of nerve fibers which transmit impulse to and from the cortical nerve cells and from one cortical area to another. Today I am going to discuss about the external features of the cerebrum. In next lecture I will discuss about internal structures. Cerebrum have three surface and three poles. It has superolateral surface, medial surface and inferior surface. This is superolateral surface, this is medial surface and this is inferior surface. Superolateral surface. The superolateral surface follows the concavity of the cranial vault. It divides into lobes by sulcus. Viewed from side, each cerebral hemisphere resembles the shape of boxing gloves, where the thumb of the boxing glove is temporal lobe. See, from lateral side it looks like boxing gloves. The thumb portion is temporal lobe, which is separated from the frontal and parietal lobe by the lateral sulcus. See, this is lateral sulcus. The lateral sulcus, also known as fissure of Sylvius. It is also known as fissure of the Sylvius. This lateral sulcus begin from the inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere, where it is known as stem of the lateral sulcus. As it turns to the superior lateral surface, it is divided into three ramus: anterior horizontal ramus, ascending ramus and posterior ramus. Okay, it divides between frontal, parietal and temporal lobe. In the floor of the lateral sulcus lie another cortex. In the floor of the lateral sulcus, another cortex buried inside these cortical parts, known as insula, or also known as islands of the reed, which is hidden by the frontal, parietal and temporal opercula. Opercula means lid. So, cerebrum is divided into frontal lobe, temporal lobe, parietal lobe and occipital lobe. Frontal lobe. See, this is frontal lobe. It lies in front of the central sulcus. This is central sulcus. This central sulcus is also known as sulcus of the Ronaldo. And this is lateral sulcus or posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, which divides here. Frontal lobe lie in front of the central sulcus and above the lateral sulcus. This is temporal lobe, which lie below the lateral sulcus. Parietal lobe lie behind the central sulcus and in front of the parieto-occipital sulcus. Here is parieto-occipital sulcus. Here is pre-occipital notch. An imaginary plane passes between the parieto-occipital sulcus and pre-occipital notch. The area behind this imaginary plane is occipital lobe. Superolateral surface. Now I discuss about each lobe separately. Frontal lobe. Here is the two sulcus, superior frontal sulcus and inferior frontal sulcus. Divide this part into superior frontal gyrus, middle frontal gyrus and inferior frontal gyrus. Inferior frontal gyrus again divided by the two ramus of the lateral sulcus. This is anterior horizontal sulcus. This is anterior ascending sulcus. Anterior ascending ramus of the lateral sulcus. Divide this part into three parts. This part is known as pars orbitalis. It lies on the orbital surface. This is pars triangularis and this part is pars opercularis, as it covers the insula. Okay, this area is very important because it is area for the speech. The gyrus in front of the central sulcus. Here is central sulcus. The gyrus in front of central sulcus, it is precentral gyrus or motor area. This is known as motor area, which control voluntary movement of the body. Parietal lobe. The gyrus behind the posterior to the central sulcus is known as postcentral gyrus. It is sensory area where all sensation end here. It is conscious sensation. All the conscious sensation ends here. The posterior part of the parietal lobe divided by one sulcus, intraparietal sulcus, into superior and inferior parietal lobes. The temporal lobe is divided by two sulcus, superior temporal sulcus, inferior temporal sulcus. Divide this lobe into three gyrus, superior, middle and inferior temporal gyrus. Occipital lobe is divided into superior and inferior gyrus. See in this diagram. This is cortical part buried inside the cortex. It is not white matter. It is cortex which buried inside the cortex. This cortex is known as insula. During development, the insula buried inside the cortical part of the hemisphere. This insula covered by the frontal operculum, parietal operculum and temporal operculum. Okay, it is a tiny structure, but it performs a very important function. Insula provide an emotional cognition to the physiological experience. For example, if there is pain in any part of the body, then it is insula which cognize the pain as unpleasant feeling. Feelings are expressed by the insula. It is because of insula that you know how to react when your body is experiencing different emotions. Now medial surface. Medial surface is flat, vertical and separated from opposite hemisphere by great longitudinal fissure and falx cerebri. Falx cerebri is the crescent separate fold of the dura mater. See in this diagram, this is central sulcus which extend in the medial surface. This is corpus callosum, white glistening myelinated fibers which connect two hemispheres together. It is the cut section of the medial surface, one hemisphere. For descriptive purpose, this corpus callosum is divided into four parts. This is rostrum, this is genu, this is body and this is splenium. Posterior part is thickest. It is known as splenium. In frontal lobe, gyrus above the corpus callosum is known as cingulate gyrus. The sulcus above the gyrus is known as cingulate sulcus. The area above cingulate sulcus is known as medial frontal gyrus. This part of the parietal lobe is known as paracentral lobule. This is precuneus. In occipital lobe, see here, this is parieto-occipital sulcus which is prominent on this medial surface. Here is another sulcus known as calacarine sulcus. It begins near the splenium and extend up to the superolateral surface. In calacarine sulcus, parieto-occipital sulcus merge and form Y-shaped sulcus which enclose an area known as cuneus. Here is the lingual gyrus which is lie between calacarine sulcus and collateral sulcus. See here, this is paracentral lobule, this is precuneus, this is cuneus, this is lingual gyrus. It is Galacrine sulcus. This is parieto-occipital sulcus. Okay. Inferior surface. It consists of a smaller anterior and larger posterior part. The smaller anterior part is known as orbital part because it lies in the anterior cranial fossa over the orbital part of the bone. In this orbital part, here is the olfactory sulcus, in which olfactory tract lie and olfactory bulb lie. Here is olfactory bulb, see, and here is the olfactory tract. Here is white interior perforated substance. Here the two interior perforated substance. Okay, here is posterior perforated substance. Middle to the olfactory sulcus, there is the straight gyrus known as gyrus rectus. Lateral to the olfactory sulcus, there is S-shaped sulcus. See here, H-shaped sulcus, which divide this area into anterior, posterior, lateral, and medial orbital gyrus. Now, posterior part. Posterior part, known as tentorial area, it is lie over the tentorium cerebelli and middle cranial fossa. Tentorium cerebelli is the fold of dura metal above which lie the inferior surface of the cerebrum, and below the tentorium cerebelli lies cerebellum. In the inferior surface, see here lingual gyrus. Here is it extends anteriorly into the parahippocampus, which extend anteriorly into the uncus. This is the part of the limbic system. Lateral to the parahippocampus, here is the collateral sulcus. Here is the collateral sulcus. This is Galacrine sulcus and this is collateral sulcus. This is occipitotemporal lobe, occipitotemporal sulcus. Here is the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. There are poles. There are three poles in cerebral hemisphere: frontal pole, temporal pole, and occipital pole. No corresponding poles to the parietal lobe. Now come to the functional anatomy of the cerebrum. See in this diagram, here is the central sulcus. See, here is the motor area or precentral gyrus. Here is the postcentral gyrus, that is sensory cortex. Okay, this is frontal lobe. In human being, frontal lobe is very large and very important structure as compared to the lower animals. This is frontal lobe which distinguish human being from animals. Due to this frontal lobe, we can judge, plan, foresight, and voluntary movements. Here is the Broca's speech area, due to which we are able to speak. Here is the area for the smell. Okay. Here is in temporal lobe, there is area for hearing. Here is the area for emotional functions. These are the emotional functions area are related to the limbic system. Here are the Wernicke's area, which is speech comprehension and word selection area. Here is occipital lobe, this is primary visual area. Here is the occipital lobe. See here, this is somatosensory area where conscious sensation takes place. In this area, parts of the body mapped here. This mapping is known as homunculus. Here is the thigh, thorax, neck, shoulder, hand, finger, tongue, abdomen, leg, arm, face. Here is the motor cortex. See here, mapping of the parts of the body takes place. This is supplementary area. This is premotor area. See, in this diagram, it is hand skill. This is for contralateral eye movement, head rotation. Here is the Broca's speech area. Here is choice of word takes place in Wernicke's area and angular gyrus and supramarginal gyrus. This is visual cortex. See here, Galacrine sulcus. In the margin of Galacrine sulcus, primary visual cortex lie. These are known as area of Jenner. It is also known as area of Jenner. Here is the secondary visual area. What is association area? Association area are the area association area are the area which carry input from the various sites, and it interpret the function and command to the motor cortex to follow the command to take action. Okay. I discuss in another slide. Corbinian Brodmann is a German neurologist who became famous for his definition of cerebral cortex into 52 distinct regions from their cytoarchitectonic characteristics. As a spinal cord section are divided into lamina birexid, it is cerebral cortex is divided into 52 distinct regions by Brodmann's, known as Brodmann's area. See here, this is Brodmann's area. Here is the postcentral gyrus or sensory cortex. It is area 1 to 3. Motor cortex is area 4. Broca's speech area is area 43, 44. Here is the auditory area 41, 42. Here is Wernicke's area 22. This is visual area 17. What is the meaning of homunculus? Homunculus means little man. A cortical homunculus is a physical representation of human body located within the brain. Two types of cortical homunculus: motor homunculus, precentral gyrus; sensory homunculus, postcentral gyrus. See in this diagram. This is motor cortex. Larger area of the cortex is occupied by the face and hand, where skill movement takes place. In the middle side, here is the image mapping for the toe. In sensory cortex, see here the face, hand, here is the head, then here is the medial surface is the foot. This is the intra-abdominal part, tongue, teeth, jaw. Okay. Thank you. In next class, I will discuss about internal structure of the cerebrum. Okay, take care.